Hey, what's up, everyone? This is David Greenspan, and welcoming you back to Season 4 of the Mindshare Podcast. Additional podcasts are available at mindshare101.com and on all the major podcast platforms. This week's episode is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems and the Buzz Conference. Now, don't miss the Buzz's upcoming event called Disruption, happening on March 30th, 2023. Follow them on Instagram for all of the details. And don't forget to check out the marketing suite that Kits has to offer. Again, I keep reminding you about this because I'm trying to drill it into your head so that you check it out. We just won another international award for best one-to-one marketing available. And I promise you, as I keep saying, if you are not using Kits for your marketing, you aren't using the best. Be sure to check out our sponsors and what they have to offer on our site, mindshare101.com. Now, we're almost at 100 reviews on iTunes, and so please take a moment, rate, review, go to ratethispodcast.com /mindshare101. Let me try that again. Rate and review the show. Go to ratethispodcast.com /mindshare101. And please note that your name will be entered into a draw to win some free swag. So thank you in advance for doing that. We are grateful that you'll take a moment to go over and do that. Now, just before we get into the show, this week, I do want to shout out another client of ours, one of our one-to-one coaching clients, Kelsey Balluz from Remax Generation Realty in Thunder Bay, Ontario, who is absolutely killing it this year by achieving the Remax Chairman's Award already. And she isn't stopping there. We are on our way to Titans. Now, for those of you Remaxers out there, you know what Titans means. For those of you who don't, that is the top of the top of the top. And hey, let me tell you this, no matter how high and how big we're going this year, we've already set the bar even higher for 2023. I'm so super pumped for her. Congrats, Kelsey. See, we put in the effort so we get the results. We plan way ahead so we can stay ahead of the pack. The whole idea here is that Mindshare Masters are not most people. And well, hey, that's what happens when you coach with me at Mindshare 101. You experience a coaching program like nothing else out there. This is you and me, and this is completely custom tailored to your needs. Whether you're new or a veteran in the business, our one-to-one coaching is your answer. Inquire with us today. Go to mindshare101.com, click on coaching, and one of our Mindshare Experience coordinators will be in touch within the hour. Today's episode is number 207. As a highly respected, heavily connected industry leader and influencer, he is one of the nation's top professionals relied on for market knowledge, expertise, and straightforward advice. Whether it's with valued clients, his growing team, or lifelong friends in the business, his authentic approach connects people across cultures, demographics, and regions. While attending Ryerson University's accounting and financial management program, his fascination with numbers and analytics led him to the commercial and investment real estate world. 15 years ago, he committed to having an unmatched work ethic and unwavering integrity in the field, which resulted in him leading his team to the Chairman Award at Royal LePage for a decade while expanding his network to include the country's most reputable builders and investors. These days, his name is synonymous with the Toronto real estate investing as he's a frequent guest across all major mass media channels who seek his unique perspective and exceptional guidance. He's also the co-founder and managing partner of REC Canada, the largest investment-focused real estate firm in the country. REC Canada is a recipient of multiple awards in the real estate community and has an impeccable pedigree. REC is home to over 50 senior brokers that deal with over $500 million in Canadian and U.S. real estate each year. More than a remarkable real estate mind, he is a dedicated philanthropist who loves giving back to the community. Joining me on this episode of the Mindshare Podcast is serial entrepreneur, finance and real estate authority, podcast host, co-founder and managing partner at REC Canada, Simeon Papailias. Simeon, welcome to the Mindshare Podcast.
If there was a hype man of hype men, you're it, man.
Welcome to the Mindshare Podcast, bro.
Make a guy feel good hearing about all those things, man. Thank you.
Buddy, I was just saying to you off air, like the fact that you're all over the place right now, I'm just grateful that we even got some of your time today.
Well, blessings on blessings. It has been busy, no doubt. It's been a crazy year, and I think that's kind of what's causing this huge influx in both demand for our services and the obvious PR that we've been participating in both the industry and the consumer are both so confused and at their wits' end as to what's the best strategy to move forward with and just making decisions. And of course, in our industry, to our brothers and sisters in the business, looking for guidance and looking for training and for coaching and for skill set building. And where do we go? How do we face this this new beast, this new environment?
You know, it's funny. I mean, I want to get into that stuff with you because I want to get your take on that market and with the message that you're delivering to your clients, your agents, people around you. I know you got a lot of influence in the industry. Just before that, though, how long have you been in real estate? Like, I know that I mentioned here about 15 years, and I know we talked about sort of the background, but has it been 15? Has it been longer than that? Ooh.
So I was licensed 15 years ago. I was in real estate, in commercial real estate, business sales only for about a year, almost 2 years before getting licensed.
Okay.
So I was selling actual businesses, 99% in the hospitality business, like selling restaurants to other restaurateurs, etc.
Okay.
Which literally paved the way for me to get into commercial real estate with all those contacts and everything else.
I was going to say, that's a lot of contacts there. Once you're in that industry, I know we had another guest of ours a few weeks ago, Ravi Singh. I'm sure you know Ravi. Ravi was in the club industry for many years prior to real estate. And again, we talked about the network, we talked about the connections, and it's amazing how like you could take a whole past life and bring it forward into something like this. But I guess you got a little bit more of a synergy with what you were doing with the restaurants there.
You bet. So, well, I came from the restaurant industry. I was born and raised in it. So my parents, classic Greek immigrant story in America.
Yeah.
So my dad immigrated to Edmonton, Alberta in the mid 70s.
Why did he go to Edmonton?
Because he
nothing against Edmonton, guys.
Nothing against Edmonton, but he didn't have a choice. So there was a few years there, and I believe it was under Trudeau government, where they were just bringing them in. So it was Greeks were going to Germany, Australia, or Canada. The U.S. was shut down for that year for that kind of, those boats were not going to Boston or to New York. They were going to Montreal, Vancouver, Melbourne, Australia, and they were rebuilding Germany, obviously, after the World Wars. So lots of factory work. So that's where Greeks were going. My dad landed in Canada and was shipped to, along with his cousin, to Edmonton. And they worked at Boston Pizza No. 1, so on Jasper Avenue.
Okay, so, interesting.
So from washing dishes all the way up the line and into their own businesses, I can tell you that big shout out to Boston Pizza, original founders, of course. They had it up to store 200, 250. Now they're in the 700s. But shout out to Real Immigrant Stories. They graduated literally tens of thousands of restaurants out of that organization. So guys would come, get their hands dirty, learn the trade. My dad was a photographer when he came here, and we became restaurateurs as a result of immigration and the needs. So.
And then your move to Toronto was when?
Just during university. I took the first 2 years of my program in college in Alberta,
okay, cool.
And I finished it at Ryerson University. And then I stayed here throughout. I went to the financial sector and then into commercial real estate.
Right. Okay, cool. And so started the real estate thing here. So when you started real estate, and I think this is something like, as we take the progression today throughout this show, right? You know, when you first started, what was the first thing that you did? Like, I'm talking like, dude, you got licensed, you've got your real estate license, like, hey man, you can now do this thing. What was the first thing that you did to grow your business?
So I was, and I still am pure through and through a relationships guy. I love to network at parties. I'm a party guy, meaning that I've always thrown parties. I've always enjoyed people's company. I like to have fun, meaning that I don't stick around any negativity whatsoever. So I consistently strive to create positive environments. And it's exactly what I did. Basically, I went from financial services, which I grew very fast and quickly, into a six-figure income, early six figures. I'm talking about $100,000. That was like my big goal as a kid. And I hit that in a year and a half into my career with bonuses. And I found out at the same time that for me to get into 250 or to 500, it would actually never happen unless people died. Because the corporate side of employment works very differently than the entrepreneurship side. It's not up to you. It's up to other people. on what happens in your life. And that's not something that fared or boded well with me at all.
Explain that one a little more there.
I mean, I worked for one of the big 5 banks.
Okay.
In their small business restructuring division,
to make more money, climb the ladder, you got to have somebody that's going to be out. Yeah, I understand you. Okay.
Yeah. So I made supervisor, I made manager, I made and I didn't make director. Excuse me. I made manager, and then to become a director. Well, those are the dinosaurs. And the only way to make director is when a director is gone, because nobody ever lets go of, let's call it 300K. Right. So I would have to wait 20, 25, 30 years or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And I said, no, thanks. So I reached out at the time. My roommate, the guy who I was living with, was head of security. May he rest in peace. He passed away. He was head of security for the biggest club owners in the city. So I was literally 24. This is circa 2004, just to kind of age myself appropriately. And I was either helping him at the club or bartending a shift or whatever the case, because I liked to be there. But I got to learn every single club owner, every single lounge owner, every after hours, every supper club. This was my network.
Right.
So because I had sold restaurants before, and this is the kind of the beginning of the big internet, like I was the only game in town that knew how to put up a listing on for sale by owner businesses, and I was flipping businesses left and right at 10 points commission.
Okay, so hold on. You immediately tapped into your network. That was the first thing you started with.
Yeah.
You focused on relationships, and you leveraged the little bit of technology that was available to you. But that was as not as a let me separate myself from people. That was about having a tool that's going to help you kind of A, get more exposure to the property itself, and B, obviously get more exposure to yourself.
And nobody had it.
In mind there.
Nobody was using it.
Right.
This was literally the beginning of these boards where people would go searching, because in 2000, was the first iPhone invented? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
It was right that time that
Facebook wasn't out there yet.
There you go. So I don't even remember where that. Yeah, the 07 is when Facebook came out.
Yep.
That's right.
06, 07. Yep.
So we're talking about HTML websites, and like maybe DSL had first come out. Like the internet still sucked. So
okay, I want to get more into marketing with you in a moment, right? So I'm going to come back to that internet thing and leveraging technology, because I love where you're going with this already in terms of it's a relationship business. I tapped into my network and I worked that group of people, right? So would it be safe to say that your first deal came from somebody that you know?
1,000,000%.
Okay. And was that just, again, through them, like literally know, like you, trust you kind of idea?
No, it's because I'm a very, when it comes to business, I'm extremely aggressive. Meaning I get it. I would ask you right now, like I can do Simeon, big bad broker, but like when I look at my client, they would have no idea, because you're in the industry. I still beg them. I will not leave if I don't close them. I will beg if I have to. And I will say, my man, all I'm looking for is the opportunity to earn your business. And that's exactly what I did then. It's what I did the whole time and what I still do today. If it's between me and you getting that business, I will outwork, out-ask, I will beg, and I will plead. But I'm walking away with that business. So I knew these people, but I immediately knew better, and I took my friend hat on, and I said, this is business. This is the rate, and this is what I'm going to do for you. And you're not paying me anything unless I succeed. So what do you have to lose? And I was able to get 50 listings in a matter of 2-3 weeks.
50 listings in a matter of 2-3 weeks.
Because I would walk
you just made a few people fall off their chair, right?
But David, if I walked into your business and you've been slanging cheeseburgers for 20 years and you're exhausted, and I said, do you want to sell your restaurant? You're going to say, no, this is how I make my living.
Right.
What if I were to get you $400K? He goes, sure, I'll sell in 2 seconds because I can set up 2 more. Okay,
so you just go out and start hustling that now.
Sign here.
Wow.
And when you got 50 listings, you're going to sell 10. You're going to sell 15. You're going to go back, spend a couple $100 at the other restaurants, keep them on ice until they sell.
Okay, so dude, you hustled hard back then. When we fast forward to today, 2022, rolling into 2023, would you say that game has changed at all? Would you say, what is the biggest change you've seen from the way you did things there, do you still do things the same way today? What is that change there that again, for you, maybe from marketing or mindsets of people in today's real estate game versus then? Because, and let me preface that as well by saying, I grew up in this game. My father was broker owner for 20 years of my life. First 20 years of my life. I remember black and white on sheets, typewriters in the offices. I remember the curly Q antennas on phones. I remember the pocket full of quarters. And I know my regular listeners have heard me say that millions of times. But I remember the old school, dude. I remember the guys that were hustling. I remember the guys that didn't have the internet and the social media and the cell phone immediately at their side to be able to make the calls. They had to hustle. And we look at today's world, and because of the influx of, all of this stuff with the phones and the tech and everything else we just mentioned, I feel like today's salesperson is lazy as shit. Like, I feel like they rely on the technology instead of going out and hustle. What's your thoughts on that in terms of the changes from then to now? Is it that different, bro?
So what I will tell you, what has not changed is that every single successful, and when I say successful, I mean truly successful, not Instagram successful.
Oh, wait, there's a difference?
There's a massive difference.
Really? Don't tell anybody.
So true success in this business is to actually have a business. And that's something that even some of the highest producing brokers have not got through their thick little skull. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's literally my mission at this point in my career is to elevate our industry. So my mission statement today, and I'll go back to my mindset in a second, but if you ask me, what are you about right now, is every single agent that I speak to, and I give my time to so many, with the only hope that they just simply understand to respect themselves and their time, to not make the mistake of wasting years without building a business and just jobbing. You should not be jobbing at any time. And that is something that I have been able to put together as an entire vertical, which I call building a business with intent. So for me, everything I do is full of intention at all times. I have an intent here today, and that is to spread exactly this message. That's my intent.
Good. Thank you.
And let it land in thousands, let it land in millions of ears. Whether you're a real estate broker, a mortgage broker, any salesperson, you can build a business by taking the exact same actions, just tweaking the intent and creating your brand, something that can be either acquired by someone at some point, something that can be systematized at some point, where you don't have to be the dishwasher, the cook, and the server at the same time. So there's many ways of doing it, but going back to just quickly the mindset, my mindset has the actual gear, the working gear has not changed at all. I work 12 to 14 hours a day since I was 14 years old, I guess, going to school and then working part-time at our restaurants and through all the stages. So people who work are working, my man. People who want to find and cut corners there's a bigger generation of them now because just more coddling and technology and enablement and entitlement. But the people who are succeeding are still working the old school way, meaning belly to belly, picking up the phone, getting the F out of their house by 7:30, 8 o'clock at the latest, and getting ahead of the day.
I love that. And you and I mean, that we're on like a real similar mission here about empowering this industry and empowering the people around us and really helping people have the strength of the mindset to say, look, you can leverage the tech, you can leverage that, but you got to remember something. At the end of the day, it is about what you do and the effort that you put into your business and your work ethic, your mindset on literally a 24/7 basis. And a lot of people talk about what they want. A lot. Everybody talks about what they want. Everybody wants. There's only so few people that actually go out and work hard to do. And so I'm with you, man. Like I do believe that the old school work ethic that the people back in the day, the old schoolers had, or have that are still, many of them still around kicking, doing amazing things. That's still where the gold comes from today. Right now, if you can mix in some of the new school technologies and things of that nature, hey, you can just empower yourself to get to that next level because you're taking control of that. But I also believe that for the people that do not achieve, it takes a toll on the mindset. And in a market like right now, and we know, and I mean, we just actually, it's funny, my team, we just put this out the other day about, how easy it is to get into this business in the world of real estate specifically, yes. Right? We're also watching how many people are getting out of the business right now because, hey, the past 24 months or 36 months was popping. And all of a sudden now it's like, dude, to what you just said, they didn't run a business. They were still jobbing. And now they got to figure out what the hell to do. What do you think about the mindsets right now? Like, what do you suggest people do right now to stay strong no matter how things are going?
So I have very little respect for punks. I have very little respect for the cocky. I have very little respect for the entitled. I just don't have any respect for them.
Do you guys see why I like this guy? Does everybody see why I like this guy? It's not just the motorcycles. It's like there's a really similar mindset here. Sorry, dude, keep going.
Well, anybody who just feels like they're going to succeed because they decided they will succeed, those are the people being served the whoopings right now. So if you came in as an opportunist in a market that people were throwing themselves at you and you had no value proposition other than, your warm breath and some shitty advice, I mean, you're not going far. I've spent my entire existence thinking of how to provide more value. My existence, bro.
Yeah.
I know hundreds of my peers who are people I admire to the core that spend every living moment thinking that if I were to tweak this method, that word, this pro forma, this analysis, if I were to spend a little bit more in my open house to make it feel a little more open and cozy, they're going to look at me in a way that I'm going to be able to look at them that way. We're going to work out and we're going to get together and do that thing. That's who I respect.
Yeah.
The order takers and the takers is who I can't stand.
Oh, I love that, man. You listen, we got this whole thing about being a hunter versus an order taker. I will be the hunter every single day. And if you are an order taker, watch out, right? Like that's what it comes down to.
And what does the hunter have to do to get his prey? So the hunter, day one, is going to go out with his sword or with his spear, his bow and arrow, doesn't matter. But day two, the bear figured that shit out. So now you got to maybe put a little piss on. So you got to smell like a bear. Maybe they figured that out too. Now you got to put a little peanut butter on your head. Get him out of the bush. Get him out of the cave. Next, you got to progress your value proposition. Yeah. You got to evolve, adjust, and continue to finesse your game if you want to keep coming home with a bear on the back of your truck. It's just that simple. So when we're talking about 2023, where every single piece of data can be found in 2 seconds or less, everybody's got access to the same shit. How do you package up the value proposition? How do you execute on it? That's where the mastery comes in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't do anything different than you do, that Bobby does, than Crystal, than Lindsay. We all got access to the same tools. How do we combine the tools to create a package that works for your audience, for your client to win? When they win, you win.
I listen, and for everybody tuned in, you really got to pick up on that point right now. I love that point that was just made, is that we are all the same. We're all doing the same thing. We all got it. Like, here, look, there's a lot of people we talk to. Why'd you get in the business? What's the number one thing people tell you when you say, why'd you get in the business? Not you, but generally speaking, why did most realtors get in?
To be able to control their schedule and make unlimited money if possible.
Okay. So I would look and say that a lot of people get in for the freedom and the flexibility, just what you said. Absolutely. Most people say they got in because they just like real estate, right? They don't tell you it's for freedom and flexibility, but they're thinking freedom and flexibility. The answer comes out as I like real estate. Okay, cool. liking real estate is not even close to enough to succeed in this business.
No.
Then for those that do say, yeah, it is the freedom and the flexibility. Well, understand something, everybody. And Simeon just said that again, right? To create the freedom and the flexibility, you cannot just be jobbing. I love the way you put that, bro. Right? You've got to be running a business. And to understand that we've got 76,000 in Ontario. Is that what it is now? Right? 76,000.
Something like that. Something obscene like that.
Like ridiculous. What is the population of Ontario? Like the percentages are stupid for how many people, the ratio, right? Like it's nuts. So how do you compete? And if you're thinking to yourself, you're like, yeah, how do I compete? Everybody's offering something. No. But he just said it. You got to figure out what that different mousetrap is. What is that different value prop? Because that's how you compete. Because most people, and I'll come back to that, they all want the same two things of freedom and flexibility. They just don't do what they need to do to achieve freedom and flexibility. So, my bottom line is just don't be most people, right? Put the time, put the effort in, because that's why people are getting out right now. I've heard, I don't remember what the number was. I heard the number the other day, something like in thousands, in droves, there's people leaving the industry now.
That's correct. And just think it through. So these people came in at a time where they didn't have to look for business.
Dude, they put a sign in the lawn 60, 90 seconds later. It's like
business was available. People wanted to buy real estate. Money was free.
Yep.
Listings were going like hotcakes. So the bottom line is, in a rising tide, all boats go up.
Yep.
It's when the tide is going out, we see who stands. And what's happening is you have a bunch of ships that have absolutely no infrastructure whatsoever. The minute the water came down, the boat fell apart. And where am I at now? Am I going back to my 9 to 5? Doesn't my 9 to 5 still even exist? Because now we're going through a recession. And if anybody is wondering if we're going into one, you have been in one for 5 months, 6 months.
Okay, I want to ask you about that. Because the mainstream media, forgive me, the mainstream media is talking doom and gloom. You led me right into that because they are talking doom and gloom. What are your thoughts about the market? And more to that, Simeon, because there's a lot of value in the things that you share, and people do look to you for advice on that front. What kind of message should we, as an industry and as individuals in this business, be delivering to our clients right now?
So I will definitely get into that. And the short answer for right this second is the truth. But we have to understand the truth. So going back to the people leaving the industry in droves.
Yep.
You never prepared to come into the industry. You came in a fortunate time where the winds were in your sails. And the minute those winds turned off or turned the other way, you were lost and drowned at sea. It's just that simple. My advice to every single brother and sister in this business today is it couldn't be more opportune. It is November 16th. We are live November 16th, 2022. You have 45 days before Jan 1 to make a kick-ass plan. A kick-ass plan on what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and who is going to help you to get there. Who's going to keep you accountable? I'm not a real estate coach, but David is. I'm a real estate trainer. I have a truckload of assets that I can give to the industry at all times. Feel free to reach out. But you will need a coach. You will need somebody to hold you accountable. Whether that's Greenspan, whether that is any of the amazing coaching outfits out there. I'm really not pro this, that, and the other. Get the help you need. There's thousands of you who are in desperate need of help. And the way that works is you take your training, you put the fundamentals in place, and then you check in once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month with somebody who is not in the forest and in the trees, but is looking at your big picture and keeping you on track. Going back to the message, this market is going to get worse before it gets better. For all the delusional agents in June saying by fall market will be fine, that's why you've left the business now. You don't solve an economic crisis in 3 months. It's not a trend. We printed billions of dollars. People weren't working by choice because they were making more off COVID relief money than they would on welfare or working their part-time jobs. The economy has to the piper now. A recession and the inflation that has caused can only be fought by one thing: choking people out so they can't spend money. That's what it is. People don't even know. People I have agents asking me, why would they increase interest rates and make it harder for everyone if food costs and gas fuel is up?
Right.
If you don't know how to answer that question, do not call yourself a real estate professional. Call yourself a student. Call yourself, I'm on my way. But respect your position and do not give people housing advice if you cannot answer why the interest rates are going up. So let me stop this charge on you and let me explain to you how you break this question down. Walk away today with the tool to say that you are a real estate professional. And the reason interest rates have gone up this much, and they will go up a little bit more, is because the economy, so the Bank of Canada's goal right now is only one: stop spending in order for prices to come down. If your mortgage payment goes up so much, you are now not able to go to the movies. You're not buying a Gucci shirt. You're not buying the extra pair of winter boots that are in brown because you wanted them in a different color. You're going to reduce your spending to meet your needs. When you reduce your spending and when millions of people at the same time reduce their spending, that has an immediate impact in the retail industry where they have to fight over your business to get you back out. When they put their prices down because money is not being spent, inflation is adjusted back down. It is truly that simple. People in high earning positions do not ever feel the impact and still continue to live their life. Oh, I don't see that many. Yeah, it's a little bit more. But if you don't got the money, though, I can tell you that right now people are suffering.
Right.
People on fixed income are living a nightmare.
Oh, it's difficult out there for sure.
Imagine you're a senior and you're getting old age pension of $1,100 a month. What are we talking about here? You're now immobile.
Mm-hmm.
You're not using the car.
Mm-hmm.
You're not bringing the grandkids over for Christmas dinner when it used to cost $250 to throw Christmas dinner. Now it costs $500 because it really truly has changed that much.
Yeah,
it's not 8%.
Yeah,
it's more like 40% in reality. Go to Loblaws right now and see what it is.
I'm telling you, Jen came home the other day, told me what she spent on groceries. She's like, and I didn't even buy this, and this.
It's unfathomable.
It's crazy.
Like to buy 2 New York steaks is $60.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's not normal.
Apples have gone up. Right?
So with that being said, that is the brief and true explanation of inflationary periods. So if you were wondering why it's happening, this is why it's happening. It's the one thing that affects everybody instantly, and it can change crowd behavior.
Okay, so we're not seeing, in your mind there, we're not seeing this going away in the next few months.
No.
The next thing is when we talk about the messaging, your advice to everybody, and I love it, know what the hell you're talking about, right? Don't just answer and, oh, it's a great time. Because again, one thing that I shared with people is with the mainstream media continuing to put the doom and gloom on the market, I don't believe that we as an industry want to echo that, but I also don't believe that we as an industry want to paint, sunshine and butterflies or lollipops or whatever, when it's not like that. We've got to truly understand what is taking place out there, understand how to explain it to our clients and educate them on the best way to proceed for them.
So if anybody were to catch any of our speaking gigs, whether it's on investor stages, in events, etc., when the market was white hot, we were screaming caution.
Okay.
When the market is depressed like it is right now, I'm screaming, don't worry about it. Nothing is going away. Because
that's where I'm going right here. So there's a positive opportunity. Okay, so here is right now a good time to invest in real estate.
So right now is the best time to invest in real estate. Okay. As a matter of fact, my flagship presentation that I'm presenting on Saturday to over 1,000 people is how to invest and win during a recession.
Love that.
It is on my desktop right now.
So to anybody wondering then, man, I guess the natural thought is, well, what do you mean it's a good time? What if the market just continues to drop? Shouldn't I wait a few months?
So
And and I put that out there because one, there's just curious minds,
Yep.
and two, because we do have, let's say, our clients, the buyer, the seller, who's like, well, I'm kind of waited out a little bit, right?
Absolutely. So there's two major things here. So if you're a residential market specialist and you trade for your client, for end user clients that are selling their family home and buying a family home, that is a completely different interpretation to the market than when you ask me, is this a great time to invest in real estate? So
Okay. Let me throw this out there too, just to muddle the waters there a little bit and say, how would somebody who already owns a home with a mortgage, how could that person invest in real estate with kind of that limited additional capital and knowing that the banks aren't really loaning on equity, keeping the increasing interest rates in mind? Is there a trick to that?
Well, there's a lot of analysis to that. So not all markets are equal. Not all markets are the same. When somebody says the GTA market is one market, they're wrong. There's over 200 micro markets in the GTA.
Yep.
And there are markets inside the GTA that represent a tremendous amount of opportunity because of regentrification, adding density to any given neighborhood. And there's neighborhoods that are on the decline. And there are cities in Canada that are on the incline in a very positive trajectory. And there are cities that are, dying because the plant closed and the mill closed and all the different things that affect real estate and investment. But to the average regular agent that is transacting for their network on their family homes, is this a good time to buy or sell? And the answer always lies in knowing your client's goals and objectives. If they have to sell because they're not able to afford it, of course it's a good time to sell. If they bought in February and they need to sell right now, it's not a good time to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on a myriad of things, you have to be able to do what's called a client intake to understand the motivations, to understand the underlying reasons of any move they are trying to make, and be able to facilitate and give a value proposition that matches their goals and objectives. That is the job. So knowledge is what's required. Spending time understanding your market is what's required. If I was 26 years old, I would be interviewing every single 45-year-old in my office because I know all of those people are more than likely carrying a mortgage and have a couple of kids and are probably a lot more worried about what's happening around them than I am. So I would take their insight. What are they telling their clients? What are they doing right now? If you ask me what I'm doing right now, I'm buying real estate. I'm looking for deals.
Okay, but I'm going to come back to this one. I'm with you on all that. I would look and say, homeowners right now who might be looking at opportunities, who have that go-getter mentality, who do want to invest in real estate, but already own a home and have a lot of their capital tied up. Can that person go ahead and still do a real estate investment?
100%.
How do they leverage that? I mean, I guess that's probably a lot of what you're talking about on Saturday when you start getting into that presentation.
Yeah. So right now, this market has created a business environment of competition for builders and developers.
Okay.
So I run an investment-focused real estate practice. That's what I do for a living. So I invest. Like my main practice has nothing to do with residential real estate.
Okay.
And when I do sell residential real estate, its purpose is commercial and money making. So I'm going to sell you a home with a separate entrance, but we're going to turn into a duplex, triplex, whatever, and it's an income property. So I don't spend any time, me personally, my team does. I give my team all the residential real estate. Me personally, I never look at a home, for the pink walls and this is going to be our perfect nursery. I'm 100% a business, numbers, and money guy. And I look at real estate as a tool to either brighten a space. I like architecture and I like creating wealth with real estate, like improving it.
Yeah.
So what the coaching that I'm doing right now to my clients, the opportunities that I'm presenting are mostly future facing, meaning pre-construction, whether it's low rise, mid rise, or high rise. Depending on where they're at, I want to limit their exposure to mortgages right now. meaning I don't want them qualifying at 7 points for a property that's not going to carry because the rents haven't caught up yet to the interest rates.
Right.
So right now, my advice to people is to buy pre-construction at lower prices because they've had to lower prices and they've had to cake in incentives like never seen before, like zero exposure to development charges or increasing development charges that can be $50,000 on a condo.
Right.
So they have them capped at zero. Deposit payments payable over 2, 3, 4, 5 years. How much easier can you make it on your client to be so small? Like it's not a capital intensive affair.
Mm-hmm.
You can break it up.
Well, I think that's the big key right there is the capital intensive, right? Yeah.
Huge. Because people don't have 150 grand right now. And if they did, they're too scared to put it out.
That's right.
So this way, you're telling me you're only going to put out 30 grand this year, 30 grand next year, 30 grand the year after, and 30 grand finally when it's built. That 120 grand is going to become your investment into this asset. 4 years from today, we're going to be in a different world. In a different world, David. Mm-hmm. Whether it's the interest rates are up or down or sideways, 4 to 5 years. If you look back 5 years ago today, we were talking about the Ontario Fair Housing Plan. Yeah. Since then, real estate has doubled.
Yeah.
So in 5 years from now, whether real estate doubles or not is irrelevant, but it's not going to be worth what it is today because the costs are going up. So there is going to be appreciation. They don't have to carry a mortgage. They don't have to get their mortgage rate until that closing day. And they're only putting portions of a down payment every so often, which makes it easy for them to lay it out. So that is the predominant asset class that I'm selling right now.
Okay. And so the answer in a nutshell is yes, there's still opportunity in real estate.
Massive.
For investment. The answer in a nutshell when it comes to the market itself, yes, things are changing. Yes, it is, but educate yourself. Once you educate yourself and you do find opportunities, you've got ways to get out there and communicate that and create more business for yourself. So now I want to circle back to this one because this is one of my more favorite topics here is, around the idea of marketing and all jokes aside, what we call build and mind share, right? How do we get people to think about us first? So if I said to you, which channels do you believe agents should be leveraging right now to build that mind share? What would you suggest people are doing? Because we see too much BS out there. We said it a moment ago. We joked about the Instagram accounts and everything else. And yes, we all use Instagram. That said, it's not the be all and end all. And I think that there's been a lot of misleading. And I've said this many times before, from guys like us who get to go on a stage that spew a bunch of stuff just to sell something. And because they paid enough to be on that stage, paid enough to be on the stage, people believe that that person has value to be there. And therefore they listen to that person and they follow that person, but they may end up going down the wrong road.
Yeah. So I mean, we call those fake ass connect men, and there's many of them out there. There's no shortage of charlatans in the industry and otherwise. And that's, again, another huge mission of mine is to shut that shit down. And
that's where I'm at, dude. I will call bullshit all day, every day.
All day.
It's got to be done, right? Because I think there's just too much of it. Like we're watching conferences right now where people are labeled as like the big, person that's coming to the conference to speak. And we know that out the back door, they've paid a shit ton of money to be there. And people don't realize that. So they follow like freaking sheep. And I cannot stand the sheeple mentality.
But the problem is, again, it's mindset. So if you are capable of just believing something without doing your own research and due diligence, again, you're a dangerous person to be in a position to give advice. So I'm a person like analysis and due diligence is literally the center of my focus every day, all day. That's how for 15 years, I have never been sued. I have never had somebody to say that man sold me something that was a lie. I've told more people to not buy something than I have to buy something. And we transact 600, 700, 800 deals a year. Not a joke.
No, dude, you guys have been kicking ass for a long time. I know that.
It's been a blessing. But in order to have that blessing, there's, again, a tremendous amount of work that goes into it. Now, you were giving advice. Somebody goes on a stage. I'm on a stage. If you don't know who I am, if you were to just Google my name in 5 minutes, you would know who I am.
Yep.
But they don't. And they just shell their money out or take advice from complete nonsense people who have never done it before. Instagram, like, and I will say this again, because it is Instagram's fault. And when I say Instagram, I mean all of social media. I don't mean Instagram.
Yep.
A curated timeline is easy to put together. You know why? Because my Instagram is curated. I do not post on my Instagram. My team does. There's not a single lie on there.
Right.
But it's specifically meant to make people feel a certain way when they go there. If you go to my Instagram account, more than likely that within the first 12, so four down, because people will not scroll past that. Within 4 rows or 12 tiles, somebody is supposed to know who and what you're about. If you go to mine, the intention, my brand strategist and myself sat down, what is your intention? And I said, I want it to be authentic. I want it to be authoritative. I want it to be to represent my 17 years of kicking ass. So people need to know and feel what that looks like. And that the interpretation, if you were to go to my Instagram right now, would potentially make you feel that way. And if it did, I succeeded. But that doesn't mean that, what if I was a liar and a crook? I could do it the same way. It so happens that I'm not. But the liar and the crook is doing the same thing, and they can, because these are platforms where you control the narrative.
Okay,
so why it's more important than ever as an agent to do your due diligence of the people that you choose to work with. And when we're talking about mind share, nothing will ever beat belly to belly investigative mind share. Meaning, David, can I have a moment of let me buy you a coffee, bro? That one-to-one coffee is going to give you miles of value more than any stage ever will.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody tuned in. You guys, today's topic is all about, an authority in real estate. And I was very specific to Simeon because, again, you can see where he's coming from right now. He keeps driving. And dude, the underlying message that I've taken away from this so far, and I'm hoping everybody's really catching the same one, but it's do your due diligence, like educate yourself, right? Have that knowledge in your head. And then, as you just said it, and you've said it a bunch of times in different ways so far today, the belly to belly, right? Work the network, talk to your people, get involved in the people. Instagram is one channel. And if you curate it properly, you can deliver that message and give people that so they go, I do want to talk to him a little bit more. I do want to learn from a little bit more. Or I've gotten to know everything I need. I just want to hire the guy or the team, right? But you've got to do your due diligence. You've got to understand what's going on in the background. So listen, we've talked about the social media platform a little bit here, okay? Belly to belly is still the be all and end all. And I would say that that's the shaking hands, kissing babies. I would say that that's the, the calling the people on your contact list, doing that stuff. Would you agree with that? Like, that's where the business comes from?
So I will say you can build a digital business. Okay. You can build that, but it will never be something that you will be able to control or retire from effectively because it's always evolving. Relationships and human touch has never evolved. It has always been the same. Respect, integrity, and truth will lead to successful relationships. And that's something that nobody can strip away from you by an algorithm.
So what about the cost involved? Because again, when we go back to the people coming into the business, not everybody's got this exponential amount of money to just go out and spend on everything, whatever it be it online or offline. People don't have that exponential amount of money all the time.
Well, those people need to understand that Rome was not built in one night, and you got to have the patience and the non-entitlement that you think you're going to do $250,000 in your first year, because you won't. You won't.
Love that.
You won't. You won't.
You a goal setter?
I am a massive goal setter. And yes, you can do 250 in your first year. However, it takes a tremendous amount of energy to do so.
Fair enough. No, but I get the message of you won't. I get that. It's like you've got to have the plan. That's why I went with the goal setter, right?
My director of operations this morning, we're sitting outside. We just had it on Instagram. Somebody hit me up and said, I've been watching you for some time and I like what you do. I want to join your team. They came in, they're joining the team. When they were leaving, there's a huge cost to join my team. Huge cost for a new agent.
Okay.
Why? Because if I know they can't invest in themselves off the bat, they're not going to invest in themselves during the year. And I don't want that team member, basically. So it's kind of like a qualifier.
How many team members right now on the team?
55.
55.
So the whole point of the exercise is for anybody entering the business and you don't have the money, you got to have some money. And if you have no money, then you're going to have a very tough and lean year of hard work and patience. There's always a trade-off. You don't always have, like, I have the ability to walk into a bar, splash the bar with $1,000 and make 40 friends in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
But how about you just go hang out and engage the people at the bar?
Right.
Because you don't have the money to splash the bar. You can still be effective. You can get the exact same job done. Mine is just easier because I'm 17 years in, bro.
Right. Right.
But it's no different. 17 years ago, I was the guy not splashing the bar, but hanging out. I'd be like, hey, David, I'm Simeon.
But see, it's still networking. Whether you splash the bar or you don't, you still got to get out there and you still got to network with people.
It's just a matter of patience.
Right.
So you cannot spend $1,000 at lunch on your first year in the business, but you can have a quality conversation, provide value via educating them in something that they didn't know. There's always something you can give. Give. Understand that giving only delivers back tenfold.
But you cannot give expecting to get back. You just got to give. And what do you say to the people that give? And they're like, but I never see it come back.
They're liars. That's all.
Yeah.
They don't see what comes back. They're either giving
they're not paying attention to it, right?
It's that simple.
Okay. All right, cool.
Or you think you're giving, but really you're not. Right. So if you think if nothing's coming back to you and you're giving, maybe what you're giving is not the right advice or the right thing.
But there it is. And look, giving, so everybody understands, giving could be, buying somebody a coffee. Giving could be splashing the bar with money, as Simeon just said. Giving could be adding a ton of value out there and just providing great information to people. Giving could be helping somebody cross the street that needs help crossing the street, right? Give. Doesn't matter, give. Because when you give properly, somehow the big wide universe somehow looks at you and says, hey, I just got that. Funny enough, I just got that too on my phone.
Well, it is a live show.
Hey, yeah. Well, listen, I had mine on mute, but like literally, I saw it go off, and then I heard yours. I'm like, wait a second. I thought
I little child that's missing. I'll shut aside.
But giving, everybody, listen. Again, it's something I continue to stress. Give to receive. Give. It's a power of reciprocity, but do not give to receive.
Correct.
Okay. Do not give to receive. Just give.
Because then you're not giving. You're inducing.
Well, this is the idea, right? And at some point in life, again, things come back. Now, as we mentioned, about 55 people on a team, that takes time. We've talked a lot about patience today. That's been an underlying theme as well as patience. It's important that people understand that it's not going to happen overnight. What is the biggest thing that people need to understand about, starting a team, running a team on a daily basis? Like just that nugget, because we've got a lot of people that, we got a lot of people that look at like a guy like you and go, I want to do that. I'm going to start a team like that. I don't think a lot of people get it. I'm not saying not everybody. I mean, there's some people that have some phenomenal teams, right? I'm just saying that there's a lot of people that want to start one, have zero clue what's up. What would you say to that, just as that nugget to people?
The biggest thing, for lack of a better word, is that people don't know why they want to have a team. So when you say, I want to start a team, you need to understand your motivation. Everything, and going back to intent, motivation and intent are the two things that unless you have absolute clarity on, you will always be either spinning your wheels and farting in the wind. Motivation and intention. So if your motivation is to start a team in order to scale your business, that's a team model in itself. If you're looking to start a team because you love empowering and helping others succeed, that's a different type of team. If you're looking for a team that does X, Y, or Z, there can be a million different types of teams with different business models. I want to see most people figure out their own business model first and have a finely tuned machine for themselves first before they implicate others and bring them down with them. Because the biggest, the most
I love it, bro. Hey, are you we could run down that one a lot. Actually, but I got the answer to that. I did, and I think that it's important that everybody pick that. You got to understand your motivation behind it, right?
So
We're not going
motivation and intent. If your motivation, if you want to start a team, you're more than welcome to literally go to my socials, find my booking, and I'll have a half-hour talk with you.
There you go. Love
more
it.
than likely, most people don't actually want a team. They think
that's the other thing too. They don't realize that's the thing. You're getting up to feed a gorilla every morning. People got to understand.
Most people actually need an effing assistant.
Yeah. Well, here, talking to assistant, are you a time blocker?
I am a huge.
You got a lot of shit going on in a day.
If I could share my screen and you saw my calendar, you might have an anxiety attack.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I'm a time blocker, no doubt.
Okay.
Now, absolutely, no doubt.
So then here's the question. The day's over. You're done. Gone through it all. How do you know it's been a successful day for you?
I truly, and this is for real, my man, not bullshit. It's very rare that I don't have an excellent day. My days are always planned with intent, and provided I hit 80% of my appointments, 90% of my appointments, the day is a blessing. Because every day, again, there's a point in your business when you realize that excellence doesn't exist, perfection doesn't exist, that every day is just another chip away of progress. Just chip away. And when you understand that, you're literally pretty much always grateful and content to have the shot at another day of chipping away. So that's truly where I'm at in my life. Nobody in my room has ever heard me complain that we're not getting shit done. Everybody's like, did we get this done? Did we get a little bit further on this? Shut her down. Let's go home. Let's chip away again tomorrow.
There it is. There it is.
Great gratefulness in the opportunity to chip away is where I'm at.
I love that. And again, for everybody tuned in, and especially my regular listeners, once again, the answer did not come down to money. No. It came down to understanding what needs to be done, being intent with what you want to do, chipping away, as Simeon just mentioned, right? And recognizing that you did accomplish stuff today. And that right there in of its own should empower you to have a stronger mindset and be able to propel you forward, to be grateful for what you accomplished and be ready to take on and crush it the next day.
And by no means do I not put value on money. I put a huge value.
Oh, dude, money. I love money. I'm the first guy to say it. No problem.
No doubt. But that's when you ask me about time blocking. There's 30 or 40% of any day's activities are absolute revenue-driven activities.
Oh, absolutely.
So don't kid yourself. Like when I say I need to hit 80, 90%, that 30% needs to be hit per day. I need to check in with the top agents, all the things.
It's about generating money. That's what it comes down to. But again, it's not judging our success based on how much money we made. No. It's about, did we have intent? Did we execute? Did we help people? That's the type of stuff that, hey, the money follows.
And it's always there. If you're consistently doing those activities, it's actually impossible for the money not to be there. Literally, it's impossible. Because if you have enough stakes in the fire, there's going to be result, no matter what you do or say. But you just got to stay consistent.
Well, that's why we talk about always building mind share, because it equals market share. Dude, give me some final words, something that you can help. I mean, you have shared so much today. I want to wrap this with a bow. Just some final words that you can help everybody who's tuned in to help themselves get out there, build more mind share so that they can all get more market share.
I'm going to absolutely take this down a selfish aisle, I suppose. I've built an incredible training that's commencing in January. I would love to see your audience look at it. You can. I'm the host of Broker's Playbook podcast, and David will be on in short order. I built an incredible training where it has the power to change your life. But I will also say that this is the time for business planning and education. The value of coaching, and I am on a coach's podcast, so I'm not going to front. David could be your coach or any other person that you choose. I don't want to talk nonsense.
No. Find your right fit. I'm going to say it as well.
Find your right fit. But coaching is something that anybody that's considers himself serious in the business, do it. I'm not a coach. I have a training, and I would love to get your feedback, your audience's feedback on my training. There's a 2-week free trial that you can kind of test out before January and take a look at what the other cohorts have done. But the results are incredible. It helps people go from finding their why to building their brand and their niche and executing with intent, which is my entire existence. So that's what I teach. But I will say that if you're going to do this, invest obviously in training, but invest in yourself, staying accountable, just like physical exercise. Jan 1, people, the gyms are packed. Feb 1, by Valentine's Day, it's crickets. So don't be part of the crickets. In order to become successful and stay successful, you have to stay accountable. You need to have accountability partners. And in most cases, that looks like a coach. So my advice is take your shit seriously. There's lots of great packages out there for everyone. But that's something you should incorporate into your business for 2023 is education and accountability.
Love that, man. And education's been a big part of today's conversation as well, about educating yourself to get that message out there. So absolutely amazing, brother. I've got your Instagram handle up here on the screen right now. Is that where you want to direct people to go? Is there a link that they can go to from there to find more? Like where do you want to direct people?
Wherever they live. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and I just have a brand new intern working on the tiki-talkie. We'll see how that goes. He told me to do a dance, but I refused.
Yeah, forget
so you're not going to catch me dancing with. Anyways, I'm
unless you're at the ball. Experience $1,000 all over the place, but that's a totally different evening.
That's right. So Papailias is my handle across all platforms. And you can reach out to me, DM me there. Brokersplaybook.com is my version of Mindshare. Cool. If anybody wants to look at the episodes and get some value from there, I'm across every single podcast platform on brokersplaybook.com. And that's where also you'll find the details on the training and kind of what I stand for. So that's what I would tell people.
Wicked, brother. Listen, I can't thank you enough for today. I know you're an incredibly busy man. It's been an absolute honor to be able to have you on the Mindshare podcast. You've shared some incredible message with everybody. I hope those of you that tuned in today were taking a whole bunch of notes. And if you haven't, I want to encourage you to go back and listen. There was just some really powerful messages. And this guy's doing a lot of great stuff out there. I encourage you to check him out. Check out everything he's got to offer. He's definitely an authority in this business. And Simeon, once again, a big thank you for helping us build Mindshare today.
One last big shout out to the Ontario Real Estate Association. They're having their huge powwow next week. It's the Reality Plus conference featuring Dave Goggins, Bill Clinton, every major motivational speaker and otherwise. I encourage the entire community of ours to attend. And I am humbled to be moderating the tech and disruption panel. So come and support your boy Simeon. And of course, network with over 2,000 agents. It's going to be huge.
Absolutely, brother. I can't wait to be on that stage on, I think it's Wednesday morning. I'm going to be on there having a good time as well. So, dude, we're going to be building a lot of Mindshare out there for everybody that is wondering. Definitely check it out. Go over to aurea.com, find out about the conference itself. There are some amazing speakers that are going to be there, including, the two of us, yours truly, on the screen right now. So, again, wicked shout out, buddy. And again, a big thank you to you.
Cheers, my man. I appreciate you.
Thanks, brother. We'll see you shortly. You're either listening to this on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or Spotify. Or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. And while you're on my site, make sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle for Realtors. This is a 31-page ebook packed with a ton of tips and tricks for you. Plus, there's a ready-to-go 90-day social media content calendar to help you build more mindshare so that you can get more market share. Or grab a copy of our perfect daily planner to help keep you organized day in and day out. And if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching, an in-person keynote talk for your upcoming event, or an ongoing virtual training, just get in touch with us. We'll set up a free consultation call, learn more about what you're looking to achieve and how we are going to help you do just that. Also, don't forget, enter your name in the draw to win free swag by simply leaving a review of this podcast. Head on over to www.ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. Of course, connect with me on Facebook at Mindshare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan101. I want to thank Virginia Munden and the Buzz Conference for sponsoring today's episode. Be sure to check out all of the awesome events they are always hosting, along with getting the latest copy of the Buzz digital magazine. Disrupt is happening March 2023, so get your tickets. We are proud to have the Buzz Conference as an ongoing sponsor of the Mindshare podcast. And of course, I want to thank Kids Keep in Touch Systems for sponsoring today's episode. Remember, you are not marketing properly if you are not using one-to-one marketing by Kids. Make sure you check it out at mindshare101.com and click on marketing. This has been another episode of the Mindshare podcast. Thank you for tuning in.